Hello? So, when I was a young kid, I made a lemonade stand, just like pretty much everyone else. And I probably made $5. And that was just from people who, thought it was cute and gave me a little quarter. As I grew up, I continued to do this just because, I like making money. And each time, I try to think about business in a different way, from how much money I thought I could make to how much money I'm spending to eventually advertising. Then around 4th grade, I created, with my friends, a business and an Amazon marketplace that made bracelets. We got about 2 orders, but they were never fulfilled because we had a slight miscommunication between our sales and product development teams. Or maybe 2 other kids. Then my 2 sisters became saleswomen, and they sold toys. They made about $8, but they sold $10 toys for $2. So. Then about last year, I read a book by Steve Blank who talked about something called the business model canvas. It's a little bit different from the business plan, and I'll explain why. We're always selling stuff. We're selling lemonade, we're selling cameras, we're selling chairs, but most of all, we're selling ourselves. Not as in selling blood or kidneys or organs. That's weird. I mean, we're trying to get people to see our point of view. Salesmen are trying to get you to see their point of view. A car salesman is trying to get people to see his car as something you should buy. Just like we're trying to get people to see us as people that they should be friends with. A man named Tom Kelly, who works at IDEO, said that companies are no longer ranked by gross revenue, but rather their ability to innovate. In the future, companies can't rely on making profits if they can't keep up with the constantly changing environment. So, any entrepreneur to create a business will tell you that what you have to do is create a business plan. It's essentially customer research from a desk. So, taking a lemonade stand, for instance, we have to determine a few things. First, how much it costs to make lemonade, how much money we can make, how much money we can make in our area, how we will deal with our customers, and we do this all just by sitting at a desk and filling it in. We have very little customer input on this, and when we finally sell this, there's two options. One of them is that the product is not what they want, but the other one is that we made a lucky guess. So the most important way to be able to innovate well is to do something called thinking like a startup company. A startup is nothing special, it's just a new company. But it can't survive the way big companies do. A big company stays at their niche. Startups go from failure to failure to failure. A startup company can't use a business plan because business plans rely on not failing. They also come with revenue plans, but only the former Soviet Union needs a revenue plan. So, for example, this failure to failure thing. A doctor who was working at the Mayo Clinic made a technology to predict broken bones. He wanted to market it and sell it, but when he did a little bit of research, he realized insurance companies don't want to pay for it. It's much more cost-effective to let a bone break and fix it than to spend a bunch of money on a person who might never have a broken bone. If he had done this business plan route, getting the investor money, spending the money, and then realizing no one would buy it, he'd be broke, and that wouldn't be good. But he did something else, and this is the thing I'm talking about. And it's called the business model canvas. The business model canvas is made up of 9 parts. Key partners, value propositions, key activities, key resources, customer relationships, channels, customer segments, revenue streams, and cost structure. Now, using the lemonade stand, for instance, the value propositions are what we're doing with this product, what the product solves, what the need we're satisfying, what we're delivering. To put this in our lemonade stand terms, we're creating lemonade. It's solving the problem of someone being thirsty. We need to satisfy the need for a drink. Our value is special from just a water bottle because lemonade tastes good. Our stand also has something called a minimum viable product. It's exactly what it sounds. It's basically how, what's it called? I'm sorry. The quality of our product. A common example of this is like the food industry. You advertise a big steak, but the quality is not up to what you might see in a commercial. This isn't necessarily bad, We just have to balance it out. If we make our minimum viable product too low, people will get angry. But if we make it too high, we lose money, have to charge more, and then people get angry because we're charging more. Our key activities are what we're being done to create our product, distribute our product, anything. Our activities. Our activities for a lemonade stand are probably making lemonade and making a sign for it. Our key resources are what we need. Key resources, pretty self-explanatory. Customer relationships, once again, are self-explanatory. They are how we deal with customers. Channels are how we distribute our product. And customer segments are determining what value we're creating. We also need our most important customers, and we need to figure out our customer archetype, which is, what does our customer look like? Now, the big thing about this is the big difference between this and the business model, the big difference between the business model canvas and the business plan is the idea of customer discovery, which is basically going around to people and asking them to fill in these different parts. Now, there's a difference between customer discovery and asking questions. If I was going to sell this shoe, and I said to one person right there, do you like this shoe? The person might not like the color black. They say, I don't like this shoe, so I go away thinking no one likes my shoe. So there's a difference between saying, do you like my shoe, and saying, when do you most often need a shoe? Do you, how much would you pay for a shoe like this? Do you know anyone else that would need a shoe like this? So by doing this, we can fill in different aspects of this business model canvas. Now, the other important thing is this seems like a lot of work. I mean, if we're talking about a lemonade stand, what are we really doing? We're selling lemonade, but the important part is that failures are not good for the economy. And startup companies are important for the economy. The more failing startup companies we have, that's not good. As time goes on, startups are becoming more and more important because the ability to innovate is becoming more and more important. So what we need to do is find a way to have successful startup companies run so that we can have successful startups. Because, like I said earlier, the important thing for a company to do is be able to think like a startup.